Okay, so I'm going to show you how to turn your form into your spreadsheet where it's going to add up everything for you and then also create a live bar graph. So I'm just going to tell you at first this might seem a little bit overwhelming, but just go slow, pause my video, have it pulled up at the same time and listen to it while you're doing yours. The good thing about the video is you'll have it and you can reference it whenever you need. And then as you do this, either when you update it every day or if you upload it once a week, however many times you decide that you want to, go through this process, I promise it'll get easier and easier. Okay, so this is, hold on, I'm going to delete this sheet because this is where I was practicing to show you what to do. Okay, so here is your answer sheet or your responses that are now populating into a spreadsheet. Okay, the first thing you're going to do is start a new tab, and you can rename it whatever you want. You could just say graph. Okay. So the first thing you're going to do is go over here, and I would just highlight the 6 house names and copy them. You're going to come to your second tab, and you're going to hit paste. This way you just know you're positive that they're in the exact same order as they are on the response page over here, okay? So I tried to figure out the easiest way to do this, and I'm sure there are lots of different ways you can do it, but I think the best way for your students to see the graph is to what your students are actually going to see is this second tab here. And all you're going to need to build your bar graph is the sum of all of these responses. Okay. And I know you're probably thinking, oh my gosh, I've been using my calculator. This is going to take forever. No, your brain is about to explode. Okay. So go over to your graph page. So for Raven, you're going to click in the box underneath it, and you're going to come over here and select sum. Once you select sum, you're going to go back to the form page, to the responses, and in the Ravens column, you're just going to scroll down. For the sake of this video, I'm just going to stop it. We'll just say 150. And then you're going to hold down on your mouse and drag all the way up to the very first response that was submitted. Okay? And then on your keyboard, just hit enter. All right, so now you can see that so far the Ravens team has a total of 64 points. Now, in just a second, I'm going to explain to you why we're dragging so far down, but you're going to do this on every single column. So now you've got your sum value. You're going to go to the response page, scroll down to 150, and you're going to drag all the way up so you can get the sum for the Leopards team. Okay, and I know you're thinking, why are we dragging all of these empty spaces? That's because in order for this to be live, we want to highlight cells that haven't been filled up yet. That way there's plenty of room for responses in order for it to add to our bar graph. So if you notice over here, if you look up here in this little line, it basically tells you that the sum will be from sheet 1, column D, row 2 to column D 150. If we did this only for the columns that have been entered so far, like if we only did it for right here, see how it only goes from E2 to E12? As soon as another response is submitted, it won't update on your bar graph because the next response is going to kick all of these responses down a row, and then the next response that is submitted would be left out of your formula. Okay, I know that probably sounds kind of confusing, but we're going to go ahead and drag it at 150 just because that leaves you a nice buffer here of responses for all of them to be included on your second page. So let me do elk, and then we will finish up with the elephant points. So just drag all the way up, make sure you see it highlighted. Once you get to that second row, you hit enter. See, this is so much faster than using your calculator. Go to form responses. Now, if you wanted to, if you scroll all the way to the bottom of this page, see down here where it says add 1,000 more rows, you could go ahead and do that and then drag it all the way up. That way you never have to do this formula again. But that's up to you. So I'm going to go ahead and go back up to 150 just to give you a visual here. And then hit enter. Okay, so now I have the data that I need to create my bar graph. I'm going to drag and highlight everything that I want included in the bar graph. I'm going to hit insert chart, and it should automatically recognize it as a bar graph. Okay, so easy peasy. There's that, and then you could make it really big on the screen. Okay, so let's go over here and hit customize. So you can change the chart style, you can change the background. I mean, you can do whatever you want to make this as fancy as you want it to be. So let's go to the chart title. You can name it house point totals. You can name it whatever you want. You can change the if you want it centered, you can change the font, you can change the color, you can customize it however you want. But right here is where you're going to add your axis title. So your horizontal axis will be houses, and then vertical, you just say number of blocks. Okay, so you can keep it pretty basic. And then there should be a way, I was thinking there was a way to color these. So yeah, I just double clicked on it. And then you can change the colors for each one. You just click on fill color. You can go through and do those. You can pretty much sit and customize it however you want to, really. Okay, so there's that. So here's the cool thing that I want to show you. The reason that we highlighted all of these empty fields is because now if I go over to my house points and actually, let's see here. I'm going to preview it, and I'll say 15, 10, I'll just make up some answers here, 5, 4. Once I hit submit, as soon as you go, looky there, that next row populated, and your graph automatically added the points that were just submitted. So what I'm actually going to do is leave this graph up for you to see. And I'm going to move that out of the way, and then I'm going to let you watch it grow as I submit another response, just so you really get a good visual of why that formula is so necessary. All right, so here comes another response. As soon as I hit submit, your graph grows. How cool is that? So The cool thing about this too is you could actually, like you were saying, you go in and clear it each week. You could go in, um, I would actually just continue on with the same graph. That way, if you're doing this for 9 weeks or however long this is that you guys have your contest, I would just let it build the whole time. And if you drag enough rows down, that means that, like, if you stop at 150, that means that's the number of total responses from teachers in 9 weeks. So you could kind of get a better guess at how many responses you typically get in 9 weeks, and then just make sure you drag that far down. And then once you go through this one time, you don't have to update it for the rest of the 9 weeks. It can just live right here. And every time somebody adds to it, your graph will update. So anyways, take your time. If you get discouraged or you get frustrated, just call me. I can send you another video or I can come and help you, but I think this will give you a great start to hopefully accomplish the good live interactive visual that you're wanting for your kiddos. So good luck.